Hello YouTube, this is episode 2 on nepenthes species showcase, and this episode I'll be featuring nepenthes spectabilis. And nepenthes spectabilis is a tropical pitcher plant endemic to Sumatra. It grows at elevations between 1,400 and 2,200 meters above sea level, which is a highland plant. The Latin name spectabilis means notable or visible, which makes sense because the species is really colorful, which is very notable and very visible. And the special features, this species have quite a few special unique things about it. One of the most notable characteristic is that the upper pitchers are actually larger than the lower pitcher. And if you don't know what is upper pitcher and lower pitcher is the pitchers that the plant produces before it starts vining, and upper pitchers are produced when the plant starts vining. And normally, lower pitchers are bigger than the upper pitchers, but this plant is reverse, like vice versa. But the lower pitchers are more tubbier, and the lower pitchers could get up to 12 centimeters, and upper pitchers could actually reach up to 26 centimeters. So that's an interesting note. So if you can see here, this is a lower pitcher, and lower pitcher is around 12 centimeters, which is not the biggest in the tropical pitcher plants. And I'll show you an upper pitcher. So here's the upper pitchers. As you can see, it's slimmer and it's longer. Yeah, that's basically the pitcher morphology for this species. And this species, as you can see, can get very colorful pitchers from usually green and dark brown speckles with a candy striped peristome lid. And it usually grows in mossy forests and upper stunted montane forests, both terrestrially and epiphytically. Hello, and this is my little nepenthes spectabilis. This is a Borneo Exotics clone. I forgot what clone. And this is still a baby. Got it from Brad's greenhouse. As you can sort of see the nice coloration on this plant. Slightly stripy peristome. Grows relatively fast, way faster than Rob Kentley, which is featured on the last video. And also relatively easy to grow. And actually, it's quite easy to grow. Like, you can grow it on the windowsill. You can grow it in a terrarium, in a greenhouse, grow chamber, whatever you like to grow it. Just make sure there's adequate humidity and water it frequently with water that is not very salty. Also, give it quite a good amount of light. No scorching direct sun that could burn the plant. The light tolerance of this plant is more than average. So this guy can tolerate more light before going red or blotchy. And yeah, so that's just my personal plant, and let's get back to the video. So first thing first, let's talk about water. Water usually around 160 parts per million. That's the maximum amount of salt content. You should avoid over 200 or over 160. That's a little bit too much for the plant to handle. The lower the salt content, the better it is, but try to avoid distilled water because it has 0 parts per million of salts or 0 total dissolved salts, and which is not the best. Just better to have a little bit of salt in the water, just a little bit. But tap water usually won't work. Filter it or just get your tap water tested. The perfect number I'll go for is around 60 to 100. And my tap water is a little bit harder, which my tap water is around 150, but the plant still can handle it. And for lighting, this guy can, if you're using natural light, avoid direct hot sun. Direct morning sun is usually the best. You can put it on an east windowsill, southeast, west, southwest if you're in the northern hemisphere, and vice versa if you're in the southern. And if you're growing in a terrarium or like a grow light or grow shelf, around 12 hours of sunlight each day, 12 hours of artificial lighting. And for the soil, use long fibrous sphagnum moss. Make sure there's no fertilizer. You can mix some fertilizer-free perlite in there, some orchid barks. That will all work. And for watering schedule, always use a drain plastic pot. That's usually what I will go for. And water it every day and let the water drain out before adding more. And you can water it twice per week or 3 times per week. It really depends on how fast the water is evaporating. And lastly, should you grow this species? This species is really beautiful and everything's really good about it. It has candy striped peristome, and the price is quite cheap for this species, usually on average around $30 or $20 to $30 or even cheaper. For feeding, you can feed it like a cricket per month, or you can use foliar fertilizer, which foliar spray, be sure to heavily dilute it, like orchid fertilizer, Maxi, bromeliad fertilizers will all work. And this is a beautiful carnivorous plant, and definitely I would recommend it. And that's pretty much it. And suggest in the comments down below what species should I do next. And I already got requested nepenthes veitchii, so stay tuned for that.